There are approximately 2,000 homeless people in Charlotte-Mecklenburg County. Over 1/3 are families with dependent children. Young adults aged 18 to 30 represent a growing segment of the homeless population. An estimated 119 are survivors of domestic violence. Over the course of an academic year, there are approximately 4,770 children in the Charlotte-Mecklenburg school system who report being homeless, living in motels, or living doubled up.
The town we were living in was so small, and it was shutting down more and more places. And there was more places closing down and putting people unemployed than hiring. And my job was one of them. And so we were making it was real rough, and so went to stay with some friends in Georgia and couldn't get a job there. The one job fell through, and so we had this opportunity up here and we jumped on it, and we're just hoping everything turns out right.
I became homeless when my home was taken away from me. Something that I did not understand or know, but everything was wiped away from us by a young lady stealing our rent money. So we had no way of knowing that we were being evicted from our home, and I had to come here to the shelter.
Whenever I had moved to Charlotte, it was in search of job opportunity. I had been talking with a different company for several weeks, and the only opportunity I had to come was a couple weeks ago. That'd be the only time I could have got up here. And then whenever I actually was able to get here, that's whenever the homeless started factoring in everything. And once I start with them in the next couple of weeks, then I'll actually be able to get out of the, work toward getting out of the homeless picture and everything. So
I don't know if I would feel safe just wandering on the streets, just me and my son. At the shelter, for the most part, yeah, I feel safe. But there's so many people at the Women and Children's Shelter and other children. I don't fully feel safe with my son being there. I've had to stop kids from climbing on him in the playgrounds, pushing him, trying to push him off the playground equipment, stealing his toys from him, snatching them out of his hands, pushing him on the ground. In the kitchen, you go in and you're supposed to get your child to a table, and then you get in line and get the plates. It's so compacted and loud over there in the kitchen that from the beginning of the line, you can't see all the way across the room. You can't tell if your child's still in a seat or someone else has moved them to another table because they want those seats. There's been times he sat at the table and cried, and he'll get down and come stand with me in line, and I'll get in trouble for that. I'll take that. I'll take the ride up, because if my child wants to be with me, he can be with me. If he feels better and safer being next to me than sitting across the room where he can't see me, I'll take the ride up.
Yesterday I experienced something from a little girl when we went for a walk, and she said, "Don't leave me." And I said, "I'm gonna have to go to my shelter, and I don't want to leave you, but I have to go." And she's like, "I'm gonna be so lonely." She was like, "Because they don't treat me right." And we got to go uptown. I experienced the museum. And one man that don't even know us let us go up to a penthouse just to look over and take pictures. But for me, when I leave from here and go to where I'm at, we already have no walls within ourselves because we're already locked in. But when you go to a shelter and you have no windows or no walls, and you're treated like a prisoner from Mecklenburg County, only thing we missing is green and orange jumpsuits. But you say there's no hurt here. When these people leave out of here, they're damaged. Because I know for me, I have been damaged for 2 days, and I'm a smiling person. And I feel a lot of hurt now, like I never knew what it was like to experience fear.
It's hard on me going from a two-parent household to pretty much a one-parent with the child, because I'm used to having that help. We had our nighttime routine and everything that Daddy and son did, that was their time. Now he's having to get used to Mommy doing it with them, and he don't like it. And it makes it very rough. Not only do I miss my husband, but at 3 years old, our son doesn't understand. Why can Daddy not be here?
My first day here, I had 2 suitcases full of clothes. It's all I had left of mine and what was left of my mother's. And my mom's been dead for almost 10 years now. And there was a guy that was supposed to give me a ride to uptown, and as soon as I put my stuff in the back, he drove off. And that was everything that my mom had given me in the last little bit of clothes I had.
When I'm walking, yeah, I feel safer because I'm quiet, I'm to myself. But no, not really. My fear is someone to come up and rape me, rob me, do whatever. A lot of homeless women do stuff to make money for things that they need. And they trust a lot of people, especially when it comes to men. They trust them because I'm going to get you a home, I'm going to help you. And that's where they fall into temptation. And they're not aware of the temptation, that this temptation has killed many women and men. I don't want to be that.
Honestly, up until yesterday, even during the day, being out and about, I've not truly felt truly homeless. Until yesterday, where on the weekends, I haven't heard of any place that does the lunches or anything. And so again, we used our food stamps to get some lunch and everything. And then the rain hit. And there was no place for us to find shelter for our son. And we literally had to run about 6 blocks in the with him in the stroller, and the rain pouring on all of us to get to the one park under the gazebo. There was no place for us to go, and that was the hardest part I've encountered so far, is when the weather is like that. I'm okay. But what about my child?